statements or allegations made in the course of this program. Just received Able Farm evaporated milk, delicious and nutritious, rich and creamy. Perfect for all uses. For drinking, for tea, coffee, cocoa, punches, juices, cooking, baking, ice pops, and ice cream, and everything else. Prices start as low as $1.55 per can. Able Farm evaporated milk. Available in two varieties, each in two sizes of cans. Able Farm evaporated milk. Available wholesale and retail at Esau Trading Limited. That means nicely, boy. Esau Trading Limited, making a difference for you. Milky milk, milky milk, milky, milky milk. Milky milk, milky, milky, milky. In the Caribbean, flash floods are common, making it essential for communities to develop strong emergency plans. Vulnerable groups like persons living with disabilities are often left unprotected during these events. To prevent this, both citizens and policymakers must prioritize climate mitigation and adaptation efforts to ensure the safety of all, especially the most at risk. Prête-moi tes olaires. Let's all unite, ensuring that no one gets left behind in times of disaster. Be proactive and do the right thing.
Need one trusted place to stock up for your home, shop, or business? Fine Foods Inc. Distribution has got you covered. From dry goods and frozen foods to your favorite drinks, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, plus all the household must-have. We've got it all under one roof. We're right here in Jimmy Dominica, and yes, we deliver. Whether you're running a supermarket, a corner shop, a bar, or just like your pantry full and happy, Fine Foods Inc. brings you the best brands you know and love. Great prices, top tier service, trusted products. 255-6810 or 316-0164, or drop by our Jimmy location to check out what's in store. Fine Foods Inc.
Fine Foods Inc. The biggest distributor for the biggest brand.
The Mary's Academy class of 74-75 Alumni Reunion Committee presents one of the most highly anticipated cultural events of the year, the SMA All Boys Concert. A star-studded night of music, culture, and brotherhood on Friday, October 17th, 6 p.m. at the St. Gerard Hall. Dancing Simin and 10-time case of Monaco Dominica King. The sensational chalet of Signal Band. Award-winning Mr. Reach across the bridge. King Daddy Chess, multi-talented King Bob. The Tell Slim So I Could Live for the Cup, John of Vino Menfeld, Shadow Throw, Conan Fingers Philip, County of Serenity. Tahina, Alex and Laron, Kenny Negos Williams, Peter Letta, Calvin Senators, Brett Moore. A night of gays who can dance them so reggae, Muyafo, and world of music. Tickets in advance, $50. Special students price, $25 only at X7. Partners include Navigator, Britain Company, TBS Radio, Carrier FM, 295 FM, Dominican News Online, Push Past 10, the TDN Radio, Paris Academy, UWI Campus Dominica, Dominican Public Service Union, Damian Mellon, and all the SMA alumni, Milo Services, Depex, Moonzai, Dominican Law Fiscal Commission, Central Cooperative Credit Union, and more. This landmark concert celebrates the extraordinary contributions of SMA alumni who have become icons to Dominica's rich cultural heritage and the regional and international stage. Friday, October 17th, 6 p.m. St. German's Hall. St. Mary's Academy past and present students. Support your alma mater.
All right, Dominica, good afternoon to you. A big night. October 17th, 2025. We are on the eve of October 1. So it means like 17 and a half days remaining for the big event. A formal gathering of alumni, faculty, and guests. A big evening. And to talk to us about it today, Brother Alvin Thomas, Joti Gist, and Brother Franklin Moses will join me in a minute. We all boast of being former students of the SMA. They say the smartest men alive. Some will debate that, but we will stick to that story. The smartest men alive. A big fundraising activity planned for that day, October 17th. Franklin will join me in a minute, but let's say good afternoon to Mr. Alvin Thomas to start the conversation going this afternoon. Mr. Alvin Thomas, how you doing?
Yes, Matt Peltier, Matthias Peltier, Jr. Good
All
afternoon,
right.
friend. Good to see you. And of course, you said Franklin Peter Moses will be joining in a few.
Yes, in a few minutes, yes.
Yeah. Let me just say good afternoon to you and the folks at Q95, and in particular to give a shout out to Mr. G. Sheridan Gregoire, Managing Director, who has supported us in that initiative, 100% and more. And to our many folks, listeners, those listening to the program this afternoon. And a pleasant good afternoon, I will say, if it may sound a bit selfish, but to all St. Mary's alumni listening wherever they may be in Dominica, across the globe, I want to say a pleasant good afternoon, and thanks for having us, as the ad itself just indicated a few minutes ago. One of the big highlights of this 2025 SMA alumni reunion is this boys concert on Friday the 17th. So we're looking forward to that. But of course, in addition to that, there are several other events that will be taking place during the week of the 19th.
But before we go on, let's introduce. So he's standing by, I'm sure. Mr. Joti Gist is joining this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Hi, good day. Can you guys hear me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, Matt, thank you so much for having us. This is a historic event. It's never been done. There's never been an SMA reunion, and we endeavored about a year ago to take on that project, and it's coming together. And I have to thank, everyone who's supported us, including Q95. Thank you so much for your support. We're almost there. We start on this, going to run from the 11th through the 17th. Of course, the 17th is the monster event that you just had, the ad you had for, but there are a few other events of note that I'm sure we'll cover. But thank you so much for your support, and we're really excited. Now, although this event is hosted by the class of 74, 75, this event is for all alumni. So we encourage everyone to participate, and we even if you're not there physically, you can still register and be part of it. So we're excited about this, and we look forward to 7 wonderful days of activity.
Thank you again, and welcome. Now, Alvin, let's jump straight into it. What is so special about this activity, this reunion activity?
That's a great question. Matt. I think, for one, it's going to bring together alumni over the years. As Tuti has mentioned, the school celebrate 93 years this year. And for some strange reason, we never really had a reunion of some sort, neither class or alumni. So for one, it's going to bring together SMA boards like yourself, I would imagine, Franklin, SMA alumni across the globe in Dominica, to reminisce, to see where we are. But more importantly, I think the overall objective, if one might say, is to get SMA boys more involved and connected with the alma mater. And through that connection, to be able to support the development of the school. As it sometimes says, it takes a village to raise a child. So the whole question of St. Mary's Academy for the legacy, as it moves quickly into that 100 year, is to ensure that that institution remains to provide that foundation, which you, myself, Tuti, Franklin, and several other that you know of went to SMA were able to obtain. So what makes And of course, as Tuti said, we have a series of activities, educational, entertainment, you name it. As we have that conversation, we'll be able to pinpoint more directly in terms of the various activities. But
let me ask, before you go, let me ask Tuti himself, what got him so involved and why is this so special for him?
Well, there's a simple answer to this. Alvin called me and told me to do something. I couldn't tell him no.
That's it. Okay.
When Alvin calls, he's had to say no. I mean, he's so tuned into things in Dominica. And, and I mean, not just this. I mean, there are a number of things that he's involved in. And he called and said, we got to do this. And the conversation lasted, 2 minutes? I say, okay. And, I jumped on it and I've been involved in it ever since. But, it just made sense. I mean, I think, after a while, after once you've matured and you're an adult, you tend to kind of quickly realize what makes sense. And it did. So I jumped on, and it's been an interesting ride. It's a fun ride, though.
A fun ride. With direction from Mr. Thomas, of course. He calls you at anytime. He calls you at anytime.
Yeah, well, directions, fights, everything. I mean, just family stuff,
I understand. He treats me the same way. So, Alvin, let's talk about some of the activities planned for the week. Huh? Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, we can do that, Matt. Like I said, we have we start off from the 11th. That is the start of the week. That's the Saturday, of course, and it rolls into the 11th is where folks are coming in, because we have quite a few folks coming in from the diaspora, and I would imagine there are a lot of folks that's going to be on island, because it kind of coincides, runs right into the independence celebration, the World Creole and all of that. So we'll be doing that on the 11th. On the 12th, we have a Thanksgiving mass service, as you know. Matt, you remember what is our school motto? Remember that, Matt or Franklin?
Or something.
Matt, come on.
Yes, I just repeated it there. I had to sing the school song just last week. So it just slipped me a minute.
Ora et labora. Ora et labora.
It's a tongue tie. Yeah. Ora et labora. Yes, that's true. Yes.
And Franklin know that it's pray and work. So it's not the other way wrong. It is pray and work. So we have to start with prayer on that Sunday, the 12th at Thanksgiving Mass. And as you know as well, Father Karam, who is the dean of the cathedral, is an SMA old boy. So SMA just permeates all over the place, So we'll be having a Thanksgiving Mass. And then, of course, that Monday evening, after the Thanksgiving Mass, let me back up a bit. We have a brunch, followed by a brunch on the CSC grounds, St. George Hall CSC grounds, a brunch after the Mass, where we'll mingle and, socialize, network, that type of thing. And then, of course, the Monday evening, we have a very interesting program on Monday evening, which is referred to as the Night of Reflections. And basically, we will be having at least 3 of the graduates of 74 and 3 of 75. Just kind of, as Tuti say, reflecting. What is it? What you've got that far? It's strange enough, Matt. It's 50 years if you take 75 to now. What has kept you that many years, and what of SMA that have caused you to be where you are today? So we'll have that night of reflection. We have one of our former teacher there in the person of Mr. Ray Harris will be presenting a feature address, and then we'll have some entertainment. Daryl Bob, also an SMA grad alumni, followed by cocktail reception. So it's really a nice sleek and elegantly atmosphere at the DPSU Center. And that is $125 for the ticket while I'm on that. That's the Monday. And the Tuesday, obviously, we have a series of Highland tours. There's some of the guys we have not seen in the last 40, as I said, 50 years. There'll be an island tour around the island, various scenic locations. We'll be doing that. That's on the Tuesday. Quickly, let me say on the Wednesday, and I'll have Tuti take from thereafter. On the Wednesday, we have Wednesday morning, we're doing a special assembly at the school. And we're hoping that you and Franklin will be there, and several SMA alumni. We're doing a special assembly at the school. And we
we need to bring our uniforms?
That would be fantastic. That'd be nice. If you can find I went ahead of you, so you may not, you didn't go in at the time when we had the thin tie and the caps. So you wouldn't have a cap or a thin tie, you had shirt, jack, and crest. But yeah.
I'll see whether somebody can resurrect some crest. That would make it
Yes,
interesting.
no. We'll get some crest. The principal have quite a few in stock, so that's not a problem. We'll get some crest. And
Okay.
if you don't come in time, you might get a demerit and followed by a detention too.
Okay.
So that is Wednesday morning. We are doing a presentation of some sporting uniforms and football boots to the football team. They've just completed their trials, so the team is getting ready. And then that Wednesday evening, we have a very, very important discussion as it relates to education. Tuti, you want to take from there the education forum and just highlight?
I think that educational forum is going to be critical because, especially now, we have to kind of redefine, I think, education and the direction education should take on the island, because with the advent of AI, it's changing everything. So I think it'll be a good avenue for a number of these professionals to share with us their vision of education for the future. For example, the lineup is going to include Dr. Francis Severin from UWI, Edmund Tavernier, Michelle Williams, Dr. Swinburne Augustine, Dr. Rosalind Keynes Larocque, and others. It's a powerful mix of policy, enterprise, innovation, and lived classroom experiences. So I think this is really, really important for us and for the nation. I believe we lucky enough to have Q carry it.
Okay.
For us, that's a big deal, because I really do think, that's one thing that we cannot let get lost in all this functions that we're going to have, the importance of educating these kids in the proper way to be prepared for the future, like we were when we were sitting on those benches.
And when the question has to be asked, what has changed? And I'm hoping we get to that discussion there. What has changed over all these years? Because we used to be a school of strict discipline, but something has happened over the years. We need to talk about that as well.
Well,
I don't think Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tuti. Go ahead.
I don't think it's necessarily just the school. I think it's youth. Now they're exposed to so many different things that we weren't exposed to growing up. That it's a lot of confusion. It's this desire for everything to happen overnight. And if it doesn't, the impatience is like a fast food culture. That's what I call it, and it's very difficult to reverse it. But what we can do, I think,
we can try,
especially from, the educators in Dominica, is to maybe try to give them a focus and make it interesting enough that they can stick with it,
I think, Matt, if I may just quickly state, the topic itself, it says the future of education in Dominica, our response to the changing local, regional, and global realities in education. And I think what it is, there are different means of educating now. Look what happened after COVID. Quite a few universities, colleges, schools went to online learning, something we never in our wildest dream thought would have been possible. But now you have a lot of these universities doing online learning. Even the schools. So I think we have to find a way to look at the current realities and the future. And as Tuti said, you have AI now. How does that play its part in education? And I think we have to engage and get the people involved. While the panel consists of the persons that Tuti mentioned, it is our hope that the students at the college and the high schools will be part of that conversation and this discussion. We are collaborating that particular initiative with the UWI School, UWI Global Campus.
Global Campus, yeah.
Yes, and Dr. Simon there has been very, very gracious in collaborating with us on that. She's very excited. We've also sent invite to the head of the college. I think it's Trudy Christian, I think she is, in that respect. So it's looking at the holistic of education. What are we educating the young people for now? Is it just academic, or we want to combine academic with technical? What is it that we're looking when we speak of education? And just recently I heard on your program that there's this starting October 1, this what you call it, what is called a real free movement of persons between the islands of Barbados, St. Vincent, I believe it was, Belize, and the other country, Dominica. So therein lies the question of how does education fit in all of that? Because as it is, a student from Dominica now can go to Belize and go to school, and similarly a student from Belize would come to Dominica and attend school. So I think we have to take a look at that. So that is Wednesday. And then Thursday, of course, Thursday we have a reggae on the Broadwalk.
Yeah.
Miguel Labadie up at Paradise Pier up at Lally Coco. Labadie himself is an SMA old boy, as you know. So we'll be having that, a Kada Sleep School night, reggae. And again, Matt, Kadas, all of those genre of music pretty much started at its birth from SMA. You talk about Gordon Henderson and SMA old boy, Fitzroy William, SMA old boy. Tim Dura, Signal Band, Daddy Chess, King Dice. All of these are SMA alumni. So that will be that Thursday evening. And then Friday morning, we're having a press conference, inviting the media. We have some launching of some books that are going to be taking place at that Friday morning. It's going to take place at the DPSU center. Hopefully that's where we're having it Friday morning. So person like yourself and all the other various media houses will be invited, where we can have a really exchange with the media. And the big night comes that Friday night at 6:30. Tuti, you want to take it over?
Yeah, it's the
let me hold on, Tuti. Let me allow Franklin just had
yes.
his lunch, so he's had a little more energy this time. So
Franklin.
Hi, Franklin.
He's energized.
I want to say hi to my elders, and then I'm happy.
That's one way to look at it.
Careful how you say that, Franklin. That elders
in the right direction, and we're heading for the goal. And the goal is to establish maybe the first ever. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to sitting down at the feet of our elders.
Okay.
But I heard he mentioned from Dr. Severin. What quite ironically, that's the man who's for 5 years. I spent maybe more time with Dr. Francis Severin than maybe at home.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, 5 consecutive years, same class. When I was, that's how close we are. When my mom died, we were in second form, and I was having 13, 14. And he was the only one and she died on a Carnival Sunday. I'll never forget that. And He was the only one. Remember, in those days, it didn't have morgues. At the morgue, we had 2 rooms, and that was already booked in advance. Yeah. So she passed on a Carnival Sunday. Who's going to go to a funeral on the Carnival Monday?
I know.
But he was there. His mom was there, and my schoolmate was with me. Yeah.
So great memories.
Yeah. So he was my best man when I got married.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you see, you guys have a history. So there's going to be a special reunion for you.
Oh, yeah, man. And not only this, and then behind me was Michael Augustine, and behind there was Alden Badwill. So we still remain friends up to today. Yeah, all these years, almost 100 years since Noah built the school. I think Noah built the school.
Alvin, what has been the reaction in terms of the feedback, students coming for this big one, the big reunion?
Well, we're getting some really good reviews, good reaction. People are excited about it. As we said, we've not had one in the school history, so that in itself makes it something that people want to be a part of. Like everything else, you know how we are, human nature. We tend to gravitate towards the end when the hip is there and all of that. But I think overall, there has been a very positive response. When, for example, we approached Father Karam about it, he was so excited about it and pretty much tell us, look, the church is yours. Tell me what you want, and I'll tell you what we can do within the confines of the church. When Monsignor John Lewis, who also taught us, and so he's so excited about it. Ray himself, Ray Harris, is super excited. Romel Lawrence was another.
Father John Lewis taught you?
Who's that?
Father John Lewis, you said?
Yes.
But you're much younger than I think, Alvin.
Ray Harris taught me. Romel Lawrence taught me. Jean
Yeah.
Rose Keynes, Nola Rock, me.
Okay.
Rupert Sorrento, Rupert Lance, Heather Volney for a little while as we got towards the higher forms. But I think Franklin made a point a while ago too, though, that, I mean, consider the fact, Matt, that you're in this this classroom and you have
Hold on. I think we have a former SMA student on the telephone. Let me see if we can join him here.
Sure.
Are you there? Ivo. Good afternoon to you. Are you there? Yes. I suspect you have him on there for a minute. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you. Yes. Yes.
How you doing, man? Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to Mr. Thomas and the rest of the panel.
Yes.
I would just like to commend Mr. Thomas and his group for the exceptional work they've been doing in terms of putting this initiative together. And I am very much disappointed with myself that I am not actually on the ground, being an old boy myself, you know. But
you
I
have
must
time.
commend them highly.
You have time. You have time.
But I have some pre-planned things to take care of, and definitely that would be conflicting with my my program. But but definitely, I think it's a great initiative, and I've always wanted to be part of something like that. But you know, there are times circumstances are totally beyond your control. You know, but I commend them, I congratulate them, and definitely I will be there in spirits because SMA, smartest man alive. Franklin, you remember that?
Of course, I can.
Shop used to mop for Bix.
Bix alone?
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
Yeah,
Even
man.
if you can't be there.
Yeah, man, I can recall. I mean,
hold on. Yes, go ahead.
No, I was saying, even if you can't be there, you can register to be part of the event.
Win Ferrara, even Cecil Joseph himself, he
That's
was
right.
the biggest mopper. We all used to mop for Big Stapley and all those fellas. Used to come
Miss Mary Biggs.
But anyway, congratulations, fellas, and all the best. I will be making my contribution, you know, in different forms. But I commend you all highly for great initiative. All the best, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Let me just say quickly, I know he hung up, but let me just say quickly, Matt, and to share that information. For persons like himself who cannot be there, he can go, Tuti will give the link, he can go online. So say, for example, he has his mom, his cousin, his friend, somebody in Dominica, you want to support the initiative. For example, you can purchase a ticket for someone to attend the night of reflection that Monday night, or that that old school jam, the SMA Old Boys Jam. You can go online. We accept payment via Zelle as well as Venmo. So he can go online, register, and say, hey, I want to purchase 3 tickets for the concert or for the night of reflection for whoever that is. So he has an opportunity, those persons like himself who are not able to be there, to do that.
Let's take a phone call. Are you there, yes?
Yeah, you can go on to St. Mary's Academy class of 1974.
Of St. Mary's Academy.
You're a former student. I didn't know that. I didn't know, Peter.
Yes, I went to school in the era of the brothers.
Oh, okay. They were never able to convert you to be a Christian brother?
No. In the evening of reflection, maybe it would be nice to have students reminisce and give the different testimonies, the experiences, like when Brother Sullivan would cane me in his office when I would be sent down to the office, the principal's office, and Brother Sullivan cane me with that thick, heavy-duty rubber black strap, you know, and I mean, I'll never forget that. And outside the entrance door of room 206, when Brother Estrado gave me 2 slaps one time on my both cheeks. I can never forget that, man. It left a mark on me. Those things don't leave you. I'm sorry, fellas. You know, I'm of the days of Rupert Lance, of Birdie in Boston, and Masterlin Duran, Every morning, the lady seller's mom or was it his aunt would come with the bakes, and we would crowd her for the bakes in the yard, while the boys played basketball. And I was part of the cadet corps in those days. But it was a lovely experience, guys. Blessings, everybody.
God blessings to you. A night of reflection. You of course, the old boys will remember a lot of stuff. Alvin and Gis.
Yeah, well, Peter
Get
need
ready
to
for
be
that,
there
eh?
that night. Peter
Yeah?
need to be there. Tickets are available through the SMA and the guys on the ground like Sobert Esprit, Damian Dublin, Peter Etienne, all of these guys on the ground. You can get ticket for that night of reflection. As I said, it's just a contribution of 125. We don't see it as a price, put it this way. It's a contribution, 125. And bear in mind, all the proceeds that is raised from all the events, the night of reflection, the old boys concert, is going to go towards the SMA project. That is the Egbert Gym in Wing project. As you know, there's some rehabilitation work that has to be done there to the roof and some parts of the building. So again, we have to maintain that legacy. One of the reasons why that building was erected in the first place was to make more space available for young men. We only had that old building. When I went there many moons away, and Tutti, we only had that one building, which is the original building. Subsequently, we built the Egbert Gym in Wing, which is 3 floors, and the roof now got damaged during Hurricane Maria. So the funds is going to go towards that project. So we are hoping that SMA alumni across the globe, as I say, will be able to support this initiative. But Tutti, you want to speak?
I can tell you, Alvin, I sold a lot of raffle books during that time to build that wing. So
exactly,
I was involved there. Yeah,
exactly. And we have to continue, Matt. We can't stop. I mean, now at the time you were a student at SMA, but now with your reach and your influence and your connection, you're now Mr. Matt Peltier. In those days, you were just Matthias Peltier Jr., but now you're
they call me Ball Tricks.
Exactly, Ball Trick. So now with your connections, when Matt pick up the phone and say, hey, I need a contribution from you for my alma mater, they can't refuse you. You know? Same here with Franklin.
Yes.
So, yeah, not only that, when with Matt, you think you're saying one person or one entity, but when you say I want something from my alma and I want something from my mater,
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The portion in the position to have of influence now.
Exactly. Franklin, in the night of reflection, what is one story you can tell to the SMA students, the former SMA students? One story that brings back some memories.
Well, but not many of them know about the caning. Okay, yeah. One little story which is we made a little we jumped the wall. Some people call it tobacco, what we call it tobacco, and we jumped the wall with the talk shop. That's the social center in the cemetery. We went there. So next morning, Brother Jimmy comes and says, "Well, Fritz Burnaby and Joseph Powell and Mickey Morrow and Franklin Moses report." So when we heard your names, we know like somebody will sell us out. So it was the lady, it was the man across who used to be Pappy. They used to call him Pappy. And his wife, he used to be ringing the bell in the Catholic Church.
Stemba.
He used to balance a chair on his forehead.
Stemba.
And yes, and then we suspect it's he or his wife sell us out. I mean, beat us. And then I saw compassion, I saw determination, I saw strong-headedness when he was about to cane Mickey Morrow. Mickey Morrow said to him, and I'll never forget that, "Brother, you don't want me to smoke my whatever it is in the morning, but that's my drug. But brother, you're drinking coffee, and caffeine is a drug." Brother Jimmy tell him, "Go home." And he went home, sent him out. And then prior to GCE, Brother Jimmy went all the way to Pottersville, buy Morrow textile, and tell Nicky come back to school and sit his exams.
What a memory. I remember one memory I can share. And of course, frankly, the entire assembly stood still.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. I came in, I had Jericho's that day, son.
Coco Miguel.
You remember the Michael Jackson days? Boy. I had S-curls, friend. Can you imagine Matt S-curls?
And grease all on your shoulder.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Is that for real, Matt? You serious?
S-curls and the drips falling down. Anyway, so what's a reflection I'm sure we can share together on that night.
yeah.
But let's continue. Yeah, what's that? Somebody else on the telephone. Hold on, somebody else on the telephone. Are you there?
Matt, you guys are very young.
Yes.
Yeah, but based on your descriptions there, I realize you guys are very young. The day I left SMA was the day they painted the Virgin Mary black. I went back there recently and I see she's brown. That's an improvement.
All right. Well, I hope you will be participating as well.
Say again, Matt?
I hope you'll be there to participate. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Oh yes, Matt. I have a young one there right now.
Okay, but somebody just texted me and said, Matt, I'm not an old boy, but I'm an old girlfriend. What does that mean? I'm an old girlfriend and I'm willing to help, okay?
Well, listen,
yes.
Matt, it's open and she's welcome because as you know, the SMA boys, for some reason, they would have gravitated after school and find themselves walking past Bath Road. For whatever reason, it doesn't matter if they live in Down Hillsborough Street, but that's the route they would take. And you know of the connection that some SME boys and convent or even Wesley High School. And even when I recall during the 70s, because that's the other thing, Matt, we are the product of that 70s. When the school had that, protest, uprising, whatever we want to term it, in 72, 73. We were right in the thick of things during that time, I can tell you. That was a hell of a experience for us at the time. I mean, we had just come in 70, and 2 years later in second form, maybe just third form going up, you had this big uproar in the school. Just about the time we were ready to, do our exams. The school got closed, shut down, and the rest is history. There's a commission of inquiry report on all of that. So that was what we, during that period of that 70, and you know what was happening in the island at that time during the 70s, that consciousness, Black Power consciousness, and it was just a complete different area, the music and all of that stuff. So that's what we happened to have been at the time. But in terms of the concert, if we want to just touch on that a little, that's a big deal because, like I said earlier, you have the likes like King Dice, Daddy Chess, Kelly the Ghost, Peter Layton, Mr. Reed, Shelley, Signal Band, King Bob, Daryl Bob, Cornell Phillip, Linford John, Carlton Winston of Serenade, Calvin Serenade Esprit, Skinny Banton, Shadow Flow. I mean, the name can go on and on and on. All of these are SMA alumni. Each one of them went to SMA. So that concert hopefully will be a blast. And it's
I think
$50.
I think also it's critical. Yeah, that even if you cannot make it, if you reside in somewhere in the diaspora, like we do, you can sponsor someone to attend the events. And any of the events, you can just go online at St. Mary's Academy class of 1974/1975 alumni. St. Mary's Academy class of 1974-75 alumni is posted in there. You just go ahead and click on the the link where you can sponsor someone to be part of of one of the events. So we're excited about this, and gives you an opportunity to participate even if you can't physically be there.
And the price is $50 in advance, $25 for students, and at the door is $60. It's going to take place at the St. Gerard's Hall. So give in mind the capacity there. You want to get your ticket real early. Tickets available at Bullseye Pharmacy, Deepet's Photo Lab, and any one of the persons I mentioned earlier, Dr. Damien Dublin, Peter Etienne, Sobers Esprit, anyone on the ground, SMA. So tickets are available throughout. Any one of us, you can get your tickets.
I think we have Ivo back on the line. Ivo, you said you wanted to share your own reflection. What was that?
Matt, I mean, the conversation is so exciting today that I can't resist. You know, my reflection would be, right, I mean, I had classmates like Erwin Ferrara, Corley Bain, Peter Phillip, and all those like Joe Mitchell, so Heather Elwin was our geography teacher at that time in third form, room 103.
Right.
And we all are there chatting away, man. It's like, if you want to say we almost took advantage of Heather Elwin's class, but, you know, Brother German, he always walks the compound like a stealth bomber.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
his hands are folded behind his back, and he's walking the compound, and he's just spying. And as soon as the class remains silent, you know, Brother Jamin is out there. And when you look out at the window,
The little finger.
he just points the little finger and follow me to the office.
Yeah.
Boy,
The
man.
dreaded finger.
Man, you see dust coming from fellas khaki pants.
That's a true what Dr. Dale Dr. Dale just reminded me one time. You know, he said, I think I kicked your shoe from the back. And when we turned, Brother Jimmy is right there, and we were called to the office. We got a stroke, both or two from I think Dale got stroked, but not me at that time. And also at one time, he reminds me that Totes, who is now Michael Augustine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He came in as a young teacher, about 17, 16. He had just left college. And he insisted that we call him sir. But we were adamant, no. And we were the whole class went to the office. We had to call Totes sir after that day.
So Matt, the day you came in with the Jerry curls, what happened? Tell me a little more about that.
Boy, I was laughed at, my friend. I was laughed at. You know, they called me. They called me. What was that? I think because it was the summer, so they actually turned red. You know, so it was amazing. It was amazing. But it was good days. Good days.
Oh yeah.
I quickly took that off my head. Yes,
those were fantastic days. So
yeah.
So yes, the concert is important. We want to encourage as many persons to come to the concert.
And repeat the website. Somebody says they want you to repeat.
It's let me pull it up right now.
It's on the Facebook. I think it's Facebook.
Yeah. I'll give it in a second.
But while Tutti is getting that.
It's SMA. It's St. Mary's Academy class of 1974/1975 alumni.
And where do they pull that up?
Yeah, just on Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook, St. Mary's Academy class of 1974/75 alumni.
And there's the registration link there.
Yeah, the form is there. Yes, it's right there, sitting on. You know, it's pinned
and
to the top. I'll pin it to the top right now.
And they could make payment via Zelle, as we say.
Yes. The payment mediums are in there too. The Zelle or Venmo. So I think that's a great way. Also, keep in mind that this SMA Old Boys event will be live streamed also. So that's going to be interesting. That, you know, it's going to be live streamed worldwide.
A pay-per-view fee. A pay-per-view fee. Yeah. Cornell, as you know, is an SMA Old Boy, Cornell Phillip, and Wacker is all his guys. And Cornell is involved with that, with the planning of the Old Boy concert, of course. And Linford John, of course, you know, Linford is performing at this year's World Creole Music Festival. Linford was one of those that during his time with us at school. Tipam from Gramax. Tipam was also one of us. Zyro, one of the leading bass players in Dominica, was also. So, you know, there are quite a few alumni that are still around with us who went there.
And an old girlfriend says, she insisted I call her name, Regina Watch. It says, tell Tutti and Alvin. Regina says hi. So she's willing to participate and give her help. Okay.
Lovely. Oh, that's great.
The other thing I will say too, you know, although I wasn't as inclined in sports as Tutti, but SMA produced quite a few sports persons, including Tutti, who is sitting there, who played for the island in soccer, in cricket. And we have quite a few folks. Basketball was started off at the SMA. Our school introduced basketball into Dominica. The brothers brought it down, introduced that. So all these guys like, you know, Neckers, Mickey Joseph, all these guys, the SMA guys. Plastic, Hilroy Thomas, who, you know, passed recently. Quite a few of those guys. So we are really hoping, as I said, that that alumni all over will support this initiative, and that they'll have their friends, especially the concert, the night of reflection, the educational forum. These are the three big items. And like I said earlier, the intention is to get to get alumni is in, as they say, to him much is given, much is expected. And if we're in a particular position now as alumni of our alma mater, I think it's only right for us to give back. That's how the universe operates.
Somebody says, Matt, I always wanted to go to SMA, but my parents sent me to DGS. I dropped off at third form. SMA, I wanted to go. Most of my primary school friends went to SMA. Well, it's not too late. You can come to the reunion, right?
Right.
Here we go.
Right. As a matter of fact, I was speaking with Gabriel Christian earlier this week, and he made the same comment. He said he wanted to go to SMA badly, but for some strange reason, his parents went, but he only has one brother. What is the brother name? I don't remember. I think the one that's the doctor, the vet. He was the only one that went to SMA. So you have that situation where quite a few, in my case, I went to SMA. My two boys followed me, went to SMA as well, So that's how it has been.
Well, anyway, we're kind of wrapping down the conversation at this time. We don't have too much time, but we're gonna go around the table and, of course, reflect on the days at SMA, and a big reunion is taking place. Franklin, I want to get your final comments as we go.
Yeah, we just want to encourage as many people as have been officially and authentically mentioned and highlighted and underscored. It's not just in 1974-75 exclusive of excluding other students from day one, 93, 92.999 years ago. Am I correct? I just tried to do this.
93 years ago.
Okay, right.
April 4th, 1932. You had 14 students started then in the upper St. Gerard's Hall on the 4th of April, 1932. And the principal, well, they didn't call principal, they call him headmaster. It was Ozzy Louis' father, S.J. Louis. He was the headmaster.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but we were taught about S.J. Louis, and see that. Now I'm finding out it's Ozzy's father. We had to read about S.J. Louis in school. Yeah, so I still, whenever I see my teachers, including I just saw Mr. Lance a while ago. I see Mr. Surrender occasionally. So we want to encourage many of us as possible. It's a good time to come and rub shoulders and try to reminisce and go back into the annals of growing up, because these are our tender years. 1978 for me, 1978 to 83, the finest years ever. Smartest men alive.
All right, let's get Mr. Gist's comments, and then we'll let Alvin wrap it up.
All right, so this is our moment to turn celebration into impact. A night of reflection, the educational forum, and the Old Boys concert are not just events. They're investments in SMA's future. Tickets are available now. As we said, you can go to St. Mary's Academy class of 74-75. You can purchase tickets there, or you can sponsor, that's Facebook, of course. You can sponsor someone to participate. The night of reflection, the tickets are $125. The brunch, Sunday brunch, they're $30. And for the big event on the 17th, which is the Old Boys concert, is $50 for adults, $25 for students. At the door, they'll cost $60 for the concert. The proceeds go directly to repairing the Egbert German wing, ensuring SMA continues shipping leaders for generations to come, folks.
Be there. Alvin Thomas.
Yes, well, first of all, let me just thank you, Matt, and the crew at Q95 and our friend Franklin Peter Moses for the opportunity to speak about this initiative. I will say to the brothers out there, all the alumni of SMA, and to the sisters as well. This reunion is more than a gathering. It is a chance to honor the past, to celebrate the present, and to build on the future, as our theme itself suggests. Even if you can be with us physically, as Tuti just said, register so your name can be counted and remembered. And if you can sponsor someone here in Dominica to attend, because when you lift one up, as we say, when you lift one person up, all of us rise together. This is an SMA legacy, and it belongs to every Dominican. Education is not just the business of the staff and the administration at the school or even the government. It belongs to all of us, and I think we as SMA alumni have a responsibility to contribute towards the development of that education and to maintain that legacy. 7 years from now, just shy 7 years from now, the school will be hopefully celebrating 100 years. So let's continue. St. Mary's Men go forth again. And maybe Matt will end with singing the alma mater. I don't know if he can remember the first line. So he'll start with the first line. If you remember the first line, I can follow. But if he doesn't, well, too bad.
Well, if you attend the events, you'll get to sing it. You know, we'll have I'm sure we'll have a few singing sessions.
You mean we are singing class sessions for that, just that period?
Oh no,
Franklin, remember line 2. Franklin, you remember line 2?
Remember line 2?
Which one is again?
St. Mary's
alma mater.
Yeah, I know, but I have to go to PAT race.
Matt, you're not bad man. Matt, you're not bad man.
I remember that one.
You remember that line?
I remember a couple lines. I had a couple lines to write in school too.
But you see, Alvin, yes, just it came back, right? It came back.
Right. Once you start line 1, it comes back, man.
That's it.
We had to sing that every day, every gathering, every church service in your black.
It only stopped when I went there and exposed my Jericho. We're gonna wrap it up on that note, Alvin. Thank you very much.
Right,
we'll talk to you sometime.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Franklin.
Thank you, welcome, Franklin.
The Mary's Academy class of 74-75 Alumni Reunion Committee presents one of the most highly anticipated cultural events of the year, the SMA All Boys Concert. A star-studded night of music, culture, and brotherhood on Friday, October 17th, 6 p.m. at the St. Gerard Hall. 10 Simon and 10 Kaiser Monica of Dominica. The sensational Sunday of Signal Band. Award-winning Mr. Reach across the bridge. King Daddy Chess, multi-talented King Bob. Tell Slim so I could live for that cup. John of Vino Menfeld. Shadow Flow, Colin Fingers Philip. County of Serenade. Tahina, Alex and Laron, Kenny the Ghost Williams, Peter Lita, Calvin Senadayas, Brembo. A night of games of Kadaslim, so reggae, Muyafo, and world of music. Tickets in advance, $50. Special students price, $25 only at SMA. Partners include Navigator, Britain Company, DBS Radio, Carrier FM, 295 FM, Dominican News Online, Push Bass 10, the TDN Radio, Paris Academy, UWI Campus Dominica, Dominican Public Service Union, Damian Mellon, and other SMA alumni, Milo Services, Defects, Bullseye, Dominican Lotteries Commission, Central Cooperative Credit Union, and more. This landmark concert celebrates the extraordinary contributions of SMA alumni who have become icons to Dominica's rich cultural heritage and the regional and international stage. Friday, October 17th, 6 p.m. St. Gerard Hall. St. Mary's Academy past and present students. Support your alma mater.
Goal winning Roseau again. Same place outside Flossie's. I tried to dock in, but he had time see me. Well, story start again. Million, lot of my power with us, huh? So, fella, I said the same thing you doing, shopping at Flossie's, and you don't have to tell me the same thing you tell me last time because I busy. It's to hear him way. You reckon? About my pocket, boy. I won't tell you that I save money in food and drinks when I buy quantity. I save more. Oh, shucks, man. Good when you're still telling me. I know already. To pack a spet him, eh? But it can him up here to Palais. I will tell all my friends from London, US and Dominica to come to Flossie's. Right next to the Rosa Market. Open Sunday to Saturday. Flossie's can't do it to you.
Dominica, get ready. The Bell Back Market is on the move. Next stop, Hollywood, Point Michelle. Me, Bell Back will now be happening every month, October, November, December, and beyond. Come and grab great things at great prices, from shoes to makeup, tools to kitchenware, and so much more. Local vendors will also be available with their products. Come, don't miss the vibes, the deals, and the excitement. New Bell Bagay Market, where you will find everything you will need at the prices you will love. Next up, Hollywood, Point Michelle. We'll see you there. Food and drinks on sale. Dominica, get ready. The Bell Bagay Market is on the move. Next up, Hollywood, Point Michelle.
Q95 FM has taken the responsibility to carry on the legacy of educating and sensitizing the nation on the greatest gift left to us by our ancestors, the Creole language. Q95 FM has pledged full support to the special Creole language consultation organized by Creole Handbook in collaboration with the University of the West Indies Global Campus. The Comité pour Études Creole, alias Professors and other partners. The theme legitimizing Creole from vernacular to vehicle of identity, education, and development. Scheduled for the University of the West Indies Global Campus, Thursday, October 16th from 10 a.m. This consultation will bring together educators, linguists, cultural elders, and policymakers from Dominica, Guadeloupe, Martinique, St. Lucia, Haiti, and Trinidad to examine the future of Creole in Dominica and the wider Caribbean. Changez tout le monde! Watch la masala with Pizeka et plus belle Akaila.
For the homes given, there is an undisputed position of the government that the people will receive the titles. And there's no government that can change that. Okay? It's a commitment to the people. And all of us understand the complexity sometimes in getting a title. It is not just saying, look a title. The title has to be defined with boundaries, and also every lot must be properly surveyed because you need to have precise boundaries. You need to know who's your neighbor, you know who you're boundary with, etc., etc., etc. And then you also have the further complication of strata titles, where you have apartments, and then you have to go and you give everybody a title and the conditions of those titles, etc., etc. And so we had attempts at the Attorney General's office where there were still attorneys who were providing support in that regard, but recognizing the limited resources that the Attorney General has in terms of human resources, sometimes matters come up that they have to redirect those human resources to emergencies before the state. So what the cabinet has done in its deliberate judgment and determination is to engage a state attorney exclusively to the Ministry of Housing for that particular purpose. That is to facilitate the titles for persons who would have gotten government properties. And significant work has been done by this young attorney. I want to commend her. And I want to, actually, when she came to see me, she's the one who suggested that, look, I worked in the evaluation unit before I went to study law, and I don't mind helping in this area. And I said, well, great. And then this is how we end up putting her there. And so she is intrinsically motivated by this and committed and has a particular passion for this. And when you have passion, 80% of your work is done already, you know. And so far, we have 26 titles for the PD7 people who are residing in Belleville-Chopin. So very soon, 26 families will receive their titles. What I've asked the Attorney General to do, because as you know, there are fees associated with this and so on, I've asked the Attorney General to look at the legislation and to see whether we could make either an amendment to the legislation, right? Title by registration legislation, or what I preferred, a separate piece of legislation to treat with people who are receiving those properties, because some people would have received them based on humanitarian grounds, on the social circumstance. People would have received them because they had to be relocated. People would have received them because they had to be compensated, etc., etc., etc. And so we need to look at a piece of legislation that deals with this particular circumstance, separate from the title or registration and so on, to sort of remove the additional processes that are required by law there and so forth. So we're trying to see how we can truncate the situation, but also respecting people's right to property, etc. All of these issues, and so that's been looked at. But that notwithstanding, we continue to move ahead under the existing legislation, and so 26 titles almost ready. and very soon will be handed over. So this is great news. So we're making comments, movement on this.
All right, Dominica, you heard him. The question is, are the titles here? We've been asking. I asked the question again yesterday at the news conference. You heard the Prime Minister. They are preparing the title. So it's now become a reality, according to the Prime Minister. So can you now refer to it as a promise? When some of it has been now delivered? Dominica, your thoughts as we go. Good afternoon to 211. Hello, yes?
Good afternoon. They expect me to believe that according to Sparrow? Thank you.
Well, he said 16 titles are here. You want to see the titles, huh? Well, I'm sure if they're here, we won't be like doubting Thomas's, and we have no choice but to believe, huh? It's at least 16. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Well, what is wrong with you, no boy, man?
What's wrong with me?
Man, I have a thing I created years ago where there is a consistent sequence of events, coincidences absent. For in the laws of coincidence, there is no consistency. Matt 26, Matt, how many people are placed in the government apartment or the state apartment or the countries because the government is scared? How many people, Matt, over what, 100 or more, Matt?
Oh, a lot more than 100. There are a lot more.
And you're talking about 26, the people that was affected. And Matt, you see, people think Skerrit is a master of strategy. Skerrit is just a blatant abuser. And that man, I don't want to refer to him as a full-on idiot on the radio. I would like to, but I choose to respect your program.
Well, would you agree it's a good first step, Lessons?
Matt, you're mediocre, Matt. You settle for less than the best, Matt. Matt, you cannot have state resources in the hands of government or what passes for government.
I'm just asking you a question. I said, would you think it's a good first step? That's what I said.
But I just answered you.
Go ahead. Yeah.
That is quite mediocre, Matt. Settling for less than the best or a lack of professionalism or transparency. Isn't that the same, I will not say fool, who went on Kyrie and said the apartments are 100% government owned?
Yep.
I'm asking you, Matt.
I just answered. I said yes.
Oh, I did not hear. Sorry. I am saying what has happened from then till now with no explanation. Because you can use it to manipulate the minds of the simpletons of this land, Matt, because we are really simple people, Matt. We are not that, sophisticated. We're having a foresight, being visionary, can observe a game before it is even being played. So I am saying, Matt, in conclusion, Skerrit is ruthless. Skerrit is rude. Skerrit is abusive. Skerrit is a bully. And not other adjectives I cannot use to describe that man. You cannot take state resources, claim it as yours. It is alleged that you have money all in Dubai, in England, everywhere, building apartments, doing all kind of things. Where did you work to acquire that amount of money, if not the resources of the state? Now you're using it to whip the people. But Matt, I would not want to call Skerrit a criminal on the radio, but I think that's what he is.
So again, be very careful with your statements. Hello, you have to be able to prove that. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Yes, back to you. How you doing?
I'm good, Matt. Indeed, and in fact, if this is a reality and Roosevelt Garrett is actually telling the truth, I want to give credit, Matt. And you know who I want to give credit to? Mr. Lennox Linton. 2 presidents of the United Workers' Party ago, the one from Castle Bruce, they're the ones who suggested that the people demand title. And of course, the voices of the opposition who have been hammering this, give them their title, give them their title. That is who gets the credit. Because if those opposition voices were absent, all you would hear is what Blessings just said, Roosevelt Garrett saying, this is government property. And they would never have gotten title. And without title, you don't own anything. But besides, there's still that hitch. There are some conditions as on that title. I would like to know what the conditions are associated with that title. That's an interesting little stipulation there, Matt. What are the implications or the stipulations? Read the title. You heard Mr. Skerritt mention it, right? It's not a clear title where you can just, as you get your title, sell it. There's some stipulations, and I wish I knew what they were. But of course, Mr. Skerritt, in his wisdom, never tells us anything. Then when we ask about it or we speculate, he calls us idiots. He just did it on a video clip there, Matt. It's on the internet. Everybody's seen it. He calls us idiots, keeps you in the dark, yeah. And then he comes and says, "Oh, so and so and so. These idiots are spreading rumors." See? But if you had told us, if you were transparent and accountable to us, we would not look like idiots in your eyes, or you would not have the opportunity to call us idiots. However, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. 449-3095-96 and 97. Again, he repeated the same in that house giving ceremony. He awarded some persons then Scott said, and he repeated the same at that function. Yes, let's listen.
I do not make any apologies to anybody for building homes for people. None. Yes, I accept that we may need to improve on its management. Yes, I accept that we may need to pay a little something. I accept those things. But we must never make our statements or condemnation or rejection of this policy because we're envious. We must be glad for people who benefit. And so, my friends, I'm so happy for you because I run this country, I manage the affairs of the country, I run my party, understanding that what I want for myself, my family, I want for every single person in Dominic. But let me say to you, my dear friends of Scott said, and those of us who will listen to me across the country, that there's no government, no parliament, no minister, no prime minister, no president can take you out of those homes. Title or no title, that is your house. But we have taken it to the next level and decided to provide titles to you to ensure that it can become yours, an asset that can transform your life, that you can take your land paper, as we call it, and go to the bank and the credit union, put it down, and say, I want a loan to build a small business.
Rep or no rep, Prime Minister, President, the house is yours. According to Mr. Skerritt. Listen again.
I'm not making any apologies to anybody for building homes for people. None. Yes, I accept that we may need to improve on its management. Yes, I accept that we may need to pay a little something. I accept those things. But we must never make our statements or condemnation or rejection of this policy because we're envious. We must be glad for people who benefit. And so, my friends, I'm so happy for you because I run this country, I manage the affairs of the country, I run my party, understanding that what I want for myself, my family, I want for every single person in Dominic. But let me say to you, my dear friends of Scott said, and those of us who will listen to me across the country, that there's no government, no parliament, no minister, no prime minister, no president can take you out of those homes. Title or no title, that is your house. But we have taken it to the next level and decided to provide titles to you to ensure that it can become yours, an asset that can transform your life, that you can take your land paper, as we call it, and go to the bank and the credit union, put it down, and say, I want a loan to build a small business.
Now let's go back. Let's go back a few years. Let's go back.
So look at proof. Now they can tell you about Scary City House, the government house. Every one of these houses that we are building under the CBA program belong to the state, 100%. So it's a state asset. The house, that house is your house. And I tell you, Spirit saying, well, the house that we give you in Bedouin Shopping is government house. Let me tell you something, my dear brothers and sisters. You see, all of you who got a letter from the government and a key from the government, that house is yours forever. On Bedouin Shopping, we had a proposal, how much it's going to cost for this component, that component, and then there's an allocation of citizenship to shares to be able to finance the construction of this.
Yes.
And so where the housing is concerned, as opposed to the real estate, the housing, every one of these houses that we are building under the CBA program belong to the state, 100%. So it's a state asset.
All right, you see confusion here. What is it that you believe, huh? I just went back a few years. On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Yes, it's me again.
Yes.
You know, Kerry can say he has the title because he don't like the truth, and there is no title. Let us wait and see how long he's going to give it to the people. Thank you.
On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Matt, I don't see any confusion in those statements. What I see is hesitancy. But the pressure of the opposition saying, people demand your title. And trust me, I know some people who have been demanding their title, man. I've talked to some of those people, and they said they went through a lot of trouble and a lot of form filling and a lot of hassle to get to that point. So voices of the opposition and educating the people to demand from the government that they own that house, that they don't just put in there and washed out when one of them dies, that they will now have their title and be able to will it to their children. That is the real value. But that pressure came from the opposition. Don't forget that. Don't deny that, and don't try to dismiss that. The opposition voices made those titles come true. Thank you.
All right, thank you. More telephone calls. It's 2:22 in the afternoon. Talk to me, yes? Hello?
Hello, man. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Matt, I hope that those people who said that the house is their own, that they will be able to put a piece on the house for their children, because there are some people that have how many children?
Well, without a title, the bank won't give you any money to expand, you know? You can't go to the bank with the scariest word, you know. You have to travel to the bank with a title. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes? You know, if you want to do some expansion, the bank is not going to take your word for it. I mean, everybody would just go to the bank and they say what they want. You need a title. He's said that 26 people have received titles thus far. 449-309596 and 9. He says it's the process, and everybody will get the title. Again, the question is: do you believe, or do you believe, or not believe?
Yes, I accept that we may need to improve on its management. Yes, I accept we may need to pay a little something. I accept those things, but we must never make our statements or condemnation or rejection of this policy because we're envious. We must be glad for people who benefit. And so, my friends, I'm so happy for you because I run this country, I manage the affairs of the country, I run my party, understanding that what I want for myself, my family, I want for every single person in Dominica. But let me say to you, my dear friends of Scottsdale, and those of us who will listen to me across the country, that there's no government, no parliament, no minister, no prime minister, no president can take you out of this homes. Title or no title, that is your house. But we have taken it to the next level and decided to provide titles to you to ensure that it can become yours, an asset. that can transform your life, that you can take your land paper, as we call it, and go to the bank and the credit union, put it down, and say, I want a loan to build a small business.
All right, let's talk to Mr. Jeff Bellot, who is coming from the Scottsdale communities where these houses were given to yesterday. Mr. Jeff, how you doing?
Good afternoon, Matt. Good afternoon to your listeners.
Yes.
Thanks for having me. Mr. Peltier, let me tell you this. We are on a move. And I was on the air with you just on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I have started this move about a year and a half ago, where we in Scottsdale decided that we are not going to let the government take what the people want and what the people need. And as a result, I got the message from him that he will answer my question at the handing ceremony, and where he will shock me that the people's house will be their own. But he has not answered my question. My question to him is when he's going to make the title available. And the other question is the land in Scottsdale they acquire. How do they acquire it? Are they going to tell us how much they pay for the land? Is the land really coming to the government, or they're going to give it to the people? And those people in Margini who have their houses, had title for these houses, why they take these people out from there, put them up in Savannah, and not give them a title? And I want to tell the parent that questions need to be answered. And when I message her and ask a question on behalf of the people of Scottsdale, she needs to stop being a coward and face the reality and answer those questions that we're asking. So he may say, the Prime Minister may say, that the houses of the people of Scotland belong to them. But when is he going to give them a title? As I said to you last week, if I said to Mafia Spirit, I'm going to take you for lunch. But when I told Mafia Spirit I'm taking him for lunch, I have not told Mafia Spirit the date, the time, and where we are going is still an empty promise. So the people need to stand up. And anyone hearing my voice, this is what you need to do in every community. You need to demand to the government what you need for community, not they dictating to you what you want. Because this housing program is an abusive relationship. This is the same man who said, and I quote, I give you a house so you can keep me in the house. And yesterday he made a 360 announcement about these houses belong to you. Well, let's wait on Friday, God's willing, if Caroline will get all the stuff that he promised that he will send to her. And I hope he does. And I hope he does. I'm sending it to her because these are the promises these guys are making. And the people of Scottsdale should get their title. And we are not going to stop until every single person in these houses in Scottsdale get a title, just like we are able to show them after 8 years we could build a bus stop. After 8 years, pressure on the wall between Super and Scottsdale, because we are on a move, not just to tell the government what the people need, but to ensure if they fail to do it, we will do it. And we got news for them. They put these people in Savannah. They don't give them any system. If there's a water shortage, how are they going to get water? I have a tank. I can get water. What about these people? Is that resilient? And the one news for them. If by the 31st of January 2026, God's willing, the parliamentary representative cannot deliver garbage bins to those houses that was built that creating such a mess in Savannah, right by the White Kubuli Trail, we in Scottsdale will raise funds and to show them that we can deliver ourselves, that we do not need them. So Dominicans need to stand up to make them realize that we don't need government to do everything for us. We ourselves need to stop complaining and go to work. Because what happened yesterday with the vote of funds is a clear example of the barrel of the people they have. Some people who are fighting for positions, and you can play that vote of thanks of people pronouncing these names interestingly. This is the type of people they can fight. Work with them. The people of Scotland had it, and we have decided we are not there to play political games. Give the people what they voted for.
All right, thank you, Jeff Bellot. Thank you. An interesting afternoon at 2:29. Notably, though, yesterday, I did not notice this one female contractor that built house number 12 in Savannah. Was she invited to that ceremony? I'm just asking the question now, out loud. The only female contractor. I did not notice, huh? I may be wrong, but I'm just asking, was she invited to that ceremony? On the telephone, hello, and if yes, I'm sure I'll confirm, and if no, why? Let's get back to the telephone. Are you there? Yes? Uh-huh.
Matt, I got a few questions. Maybe you can help me answer them.
I'll try.
Which area in Dominica were the first occupants, not recipients, because they have not received the occupying of government houses?
From what I gather, I think it was Peter Savan, John Belvey, from my recollection, though. My recollection. I may be wrong.
Okay. When was the budget speech in Dominica?
I mean, this year?
Uh-huh.
About 2-3 months ago, June, July.
2-3 months ago. And then we heard Melissa say that a state attorney was specifically assigned to prepare the title deed for those people.
Mm-hmm.
But how long does it take to prepare a title deed?
I'm not a lawyer, but I mean, it's not too much time. Not too much time for sure.
So you mean to tell me after 3 months, only provide 26 title deeds? Is that what they're trying to tell us? But additionally, I don't think even if a government owns all the seats in parliament, that they can just divest or just give away government property like that. Skerrit has made it abundantly clear that those are government assets. So where does he get the authority to assign government assets to any one man or family or nothing like that, man? It is not possible. So the people and them who sit down clapping, right? He say if you promise a fool, a promise is comfort to a fool. And the more you promise them, the further you send them, the more you fool them. And the people in Dominica need to open their eyes, man. Because what Skerrit is doing to them is torture, it's abuse, okay? It's a toxic relationship, and they are worshiping Skerrit under all those stupidness there. They need to stop it and get their act together.
All right, caller, thank you. Good afternoon to you. 2231. Hello, talk to me, yes? Yes? How you doing?
I good. I listened to people argument about that site. So I listened to the program of the Prime Minister yesterday, and I heard him giving some excuses about they assign an attorney and all of that, and these things take time, and this and that, and this and that. But let me tell you something. The government of Dominica infrastructure development, they're supposed to be in the best position to be able to furnish people with titles expeditiously. Because now, all aspects of what it takes to develop a title is within the custodianship of the government. Am I right or wrong, Matt?
True. You're right.
Right. Now, Matt, here's the issue. That is why I just get problem with that. He's talking about land needs to be surveyed and this and that and this and that. Matt, all these things are preliminary things to the construction of the apartment. So why you have to talk about a surveying after a building has been built to have information to furnish or to implement into the title. All these things are preliminary to the start of the construction, Matt. And I right, Matt.
You're right. You're very right.
And right, Matt. And now, even with the consistency of the design of the apartment, there is not much changes. There is not a value difference. They're replicating, they're duplicating. All the apartments are looking the same way. They are of the same value. They're running on the same budget. But if it's a one-bedroom apartment, if it's a two-bedroom apartment, if it's a three-bedroom apartment, you only need a three concept model of the title, and then you just duplicate it and change who is going to be assigned to. That is that because it is not that enough.
True.
What individual attention that each unit has to get that is different from unit? Explain that to me. In a construction that is duplicated over and over and over, is not where you put it, it's just about the duplication and the value of the construction.
That's not rocket science at all.
Consistent? Yeah, it is very consistent. So the government should be taking the example And yet, as far as I'm concerned, because it is a government project, it should have what they call an expedited way. Due to purpose and due to the fact that the government should have only information at hand. Is that second party surveyor, is that second party with multiple contractors and land and survey this? It's not a regular citizen that has to be chasing somebody to come and survey my. It's not a regular citizen you have to be trying to get the influence of the value of the property and all kind of things. It's one man doing everything. Everything is in a controlled domain. And the information is in a controlled domain to retrieve, to create an expeditious way to give back. Because I'm in the best position ever. But the other damaging thing is that if government can construct apartments for its citizens, the government, the leaders, the example to the system, how does that motivate an investor coming into America to do infrastructural development on whatever level and find out the system is so flawed that it will take 3 years before they can get a title? Because if the government cannot do it, who is the second party or the regular citizen to get it done quick, Mark? Where they have more shifting aspects of getting it done. You understand my point? So sometimes when you set something based on this combination, it can be very damaging to motivate an investor. There are repercussions to words, there are repercussions to action, there are consequences to things, to your deficiency. And that is what the Prime Minister put on the table yesterday. But he has this sarcastic way of putting things. And then he takes you all and burns you all out in the road. And you have to challenge him because before he gets into the last, right away, all your mind lose focus on the seriousness of having a press conference and interviewing and interrogating very, 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 very seriously.
All right, caller. Thank you. 2:36 is the afternoon time. Matt tells Skerrit Point Michelle people need their land papers too. They're one of the first set of people in the South to get house since 2018. So 2018, there are individual persons who receive apartments. They have not received their titles. So that can be very easy. 449-3095, the people of Point Michelle saying that they need their titles. Para, listen to that. They need their titles. That's what they're saying. Hello, talk to me, yes?
So, Matt,
yes,
you cannot figure out why there's hesitancy, Matt? You don't know why there's hesitancy to give people title? Because once I have my title, and I don't like what you're doing. Yes, you facilitated me of a house, but I don't like how you're running the government. I am now independent to open my mouth and say, I am no longer supporting this party. But if I don't have that title, I have a babu check because you can kick me out. I do have title. But once I get title, now I can open my mouth. So you can understand why there's hesitancy, Matt, from this politician. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you too. Let's take a voice note, yes?
Matt, good afternoon to you and all Dominicans.
Good afternoon.
Yesterday, I listened to Roosevelt Skerrit at his press conference, and I just listened to the little insert that you played as it refers to the persons who are receiving houses and the titles in question. And Matt, I would have to conclude that it's either Roosevelt Skerrit does not have a good head, or poor memory, or the man is just a master general. He is the one who told Dominicans that all of the houses belong to the government. It belonged to state asset, number one. Number two, he was the very same person who told the recipients of those homes that whenever the opposition comes before their doors, ask them to get out from the steps of Roosevelt Skerrit and take water, hot water, and throw on them. Now he is coming around to make it look like persons did not want the recipients of those homes to have certificate of titles for those properties. And he is stating again, Matt, that no government, no subsequent government or person who comes after can take those homes from the recipients of those houses. Matt, that man must have forgotten that this is their modus operandi, that when persons die, they are the first ones, they're the first people to come and remove their families from those homes, even before rigor mortis sets in. They throw the people out of the houses, the families. So that is how they operate. Now he's talking about lands have to be surveyed, before and the other. But that is a normal process, normal procedure. When a house is going to be built, you must survey the lands. And if this man had any intentions to give those people the titles, that is the first thing that would be done. He's talking about the monies to process those titles. But sir, you have those lawyers coming in from Trinidad to persecute the opposition. How much monies have you paid to those lawyers who come in so regularly to do your dirty work? And you're talking about money? You should have had sufficient funds. The Attorney General should not have any difficulties with funds, because Dominica is overflowing with money that you can bring in foreign prosecutors so often. And this man, he just says anything that comes to his mind. I heard him yesterday on the question of Vescott Jones. When Curtis Matthew asked him the question about Vescott Jones and his reinstatement and, stuff to that effect. And I was in awe. Roosevelt Skerrit behaves like he was not in on those decisions to terminate Vescott Jones. He behaves like that was decisions that was taken outside of his purview. My God, I don't even know what can be done to the brains of Dominicans for them to understand that this man is the master manipulator and a master of lies. Come on, you cannot insult people like that. You're insulting people's intelligence. But one thing I would like you to know is, you can fool some people, but you can't fool all the people all the time. Thank you, Matt.
Creole Cruise Party is set to set sail at sunset to secret exclusive destinations under the canopy of a lovely, lively, vibrant, colorful celebration with non-stop entertainment by First Serenade Combo, King Dice, Reigning Calypso Monarch, Joy, Dread and the Bear. Music by DJ Shield. 6 p.m. and the journey departs the Bayfront in Roseau. It's smooth sailing along the scenic coast of independent Dominica. Come and enjoy a deserving night of highly anticipated good fun, friends and frolic. Thursday, October 23rd, all-inclusive Creole Cruise Party. Secure your tickets now for this extraordinary cruise journey along the coast of Dominica. Only $280 or $80 US. All-inclusive Creole Cruise Party. Get your tickets at Island Event Tickets/tickets Creole Cruise Party. A Bullseye Pharmacy. A call 235-6888. Thursday, October 23rd. Big prizes and surprises. Everyone from the diaspora will be there.
This is serious. Yeah, man, for the man, them. This is the king that's one in the man, them. Trust me, don't wait. Go check your prostate. From the 1st of September and beyond, the Cancer Society told me prostate awareness month. Go get tested annually. Come get screened and be healthy. A strong prostate makes a strong king. Strong king builds a strong country. Yeah, man, check your prostate.
The Music Academy class of 74-75, Alumni Reunion Committee presents one of the most highly anticipated cultural events of the year, the SMA All Boys Concert, a star-studded night of music, culture, and brotherhood on Friday, October 17th, 6 p.m. at the St. Gerard Hall. Dancing Civil and 10-time Kaiser of Dominica. The sensational Chalet of Single Band. Award-winning Mr. Reach across the bridge. King Daddy Chess, multi-talented King Bob. Tell Slim so I could live for that club. John of Vino Man Shadow Flow, Golden Fingers Philip, County of Serenade. Tahina, Alexon Laron, Kenny the Ghost Williams, Peter Lita, Calvin Senator Spremo. A night of gay soca dance so reggae Muyafo and world of music. Tickets in advance $50. Special students price $25 only at XM. Partners include Navigator, Bertrand Company, PBS Radio, Carrier FM, 295 FM, Dominican News Online, Push Past 10, the TDN Radio, Paris Academy, UWI Campus Dominica, Dominica Public Service Union, Damian Bennett, and all the SMA alumni, Milo Services, Defects, Bullseye, Dominican Lotteries Commission, Central Cooperative Credit Union, and more. This is Michael to celebrate the extraordinary contributions of SMA alumni who have become icons to Dominica's rich cultural heritage and the regional and international stage. Friday, October 17th, 6 p.m. St. German's Hall. St. Mary's Academy past and present students. Support your alma mater.
And for the homes given, there is an undisputed position of the government that the people will receive the titles. And there's no government that can change that. Okay? It's a commitment to the people. And all of us understand the complexity sometimes in getting a title. It is not just saying, look a title. The title has to be defined with boundaries, and also every lot must be properly surveyed because you need to have precise boundaries. You need to know who's your neighbor, you know who you're boundary with, etc., etc., etc. And then you also have the further complication of strata titles, where you have apartments, and then you have to go and you give everybody a title and the conditions of those titles, etc., etc. And so we had attempts at the Attorney General's office where there were still attorneys who were providing support in that regard, but recognizing the limited resources that the Attorney General has in terms of human resources, sometimes matters come up that they have to redirect those human resources to emergencies before the state. So what the cabinet has done in its deliberate judgment and determination is to engage a state attorney exclusively to the Ministry of Housing for that particular purpose. That is to facilitate the titles for persons who would have gotten government properties. And significant work has been done by this young attorney. I want to commend her. And I want to, actually, when she came to see me, she's the one who suggested that, look, I worked in the evaluation unit before I went to study law, and I don't mind helping in this area. And I said, well, great. And then this is how we end up putting her there. And so she is intrinsically motivated by this and committed and has a particular passion for this. And when you have passion, 80% of your work is done already, you know. And so far, we have 26 titles for the PD7 people who are residing in Belleville-Chopin. So very soon, 26 families will receive their titles. What I've asked the Attorney General to do, because as you know, there are fees associated with this and so on, I've asked the Attorney General to look at the legislation and to see whether we could make either an amendment to the legislation, right? Title by registration legislation, or what I preferred, a separate piece of legislation to treat with people who are receiving those properties, because some people would have received them based on humanitarian grounds, on the social circumstance. People would have received them because they had to be relocated. People would have received them because they had to be compensated, etc., etc., etc. And so we need to look at a piece of legislation that deals with this particular circumstance, separate from the title or registration and so on, to sort of remove the additional processes that are required by law there and so forth. So we're trying to see how we can truncate the situation, but also respecting people's right to property, etc. All of these issues, and so that's been looked at. But that notwithstanding, we continue to move ahead under the existing legislation, and so 26 titles are almost ready, and very soon will be handed over. So this is great news. So we're making comments, movement on this. I do not make any apologies to anybody for building homes for people. None. Yes, I accept that we may need to improve on its management. Yes, I accept that we may need to pay a little something. I accept those things. But we must never make our statements or condemnation or rejection of this policy because we're envious. We must be glad for people who benefit. And so, my friends, I'm so happy for you because I run this country, I manage the affairs of the country, I run my party, understanding that what I want for myself, my family, I want for every single person in Dominica. But let me say to you, my dear friends of Scottsdale, and those of us who will listen to me across the country, that there's no government, no parliament, no minister, no prime minister, no president can take you out of those homes. Title or no title, that is your house. But we have taken it to the next level and decided to provide titles to you to ensure that it can become yours, an asset that can transform your life, that you can take your land paper, as we call it, and go to the bank and the credit union, put it down, and say, I want a loan to build a small business.
All right, Dominica says, somebody says here, Dominican National Matt, what the Prime Minister says is totally incorrect and it's pure lies. I've gotten the title, a first title, from start to finish. It only took me 3 months. There are people who have been waiting for 8 years and more than that too. So this is a complete fabrication. Matt, good afternoon to you. These lies make my stomach full. I can't even finish my lunch. On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Matt, you know, when you replayed that clip, I was like, damn, Matt repeating that thing. But it's a good thing because when I listened, I am hearing that not all of these houses were built to give away to the poor. Some were for compensation. Matt, the government was compensating somebody and gave them a house and gave it to them without a title. How you compensating somebody by giving them a house and without title? And some for people who were relocated. There was a disaster somewhere. You relocate the people, you take them off their land into the savannah. You shut down the village and you bring them in a place where you put them in a house and you don't give them title. You see what I mean, Matt? So when they call these numbers about the government gave out how many houses, you got to subtract the ones for relocation. You got to subtract the ones for compensation. And we don't know how many of those there are. That would be a good question for Mr. Skerritt. How many for relocation? How many for compensation? To come out on that big large number that they keep propagating, Matt. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Let's see if we can take another voice note here. Good afternoon.
To you and your listeners. Matt, just confirm for me, please. Is Roosevelt Skerritt telling the people of Soufriere and Scott said that they will be the first recipients in quick time? They will be the first recipients of certificates of title, because there have been so many houses provided to others before them, and they're yet to receive certificates of title. Pardon me. So if he's talking to the people of Soufriere and Scott said, as if they are going to receive their certificates of title in quick time, very soon. In my view, based on the historical facts facing us, nothing could be further from the truth. And my concern is this. Secondly, very quickly, the houses that have been built as individual houses on pieces of land would have been houses that were just built. These pieces of land would have just been surveyed. So you can't tell me you're waiting on them to be surveyed for you to get certificates of title. These things have just been surveyed, newly surveyed, in order for the houses to be put down in particular locations on these plots of land. So that in itself is an untruth. And finally, my concern is that those who have gotten apartments, if they do get certificates of title, They are then going to be responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of their individual apartments, presumably internally as well as externally. And I think that is going to present very, very serious problems, because some people will be able to afford to put some paint on the outside of their apartment. Others will not be able to afford it. And how is this thing going to be managed collectively? It's going to have to be a collective effort. And I believe that maintaining those apartment buildings over time is going to become a very, very, very serious issue, very, very serious problem. And these people are going to be stuck in apartments that are dilapidated and deteriorating with no action on the part of this government to maintain them. So it's obviously a bunch of it's a housing revolution that is designed to keep people voting for them and nothing else.
I can't believe the time is already 4 minutes to the hour of 3 o'clock. Wow. On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Hi, good afternoon, Matt. How are you doing?
Good afternoon to you.
Matt, that getting of the lady lawyer to give them people the certificate of title, yeah, man? That was since last year. They spoke about that after House of Assembly. Can you remember that?
No, I can't.
That was sometime last year, not this year. And 20, he said he has 26 people to give. Nobody hasn't gotten nothing yet, man. Up to yesterday, one lady was on a bus, if me coming out from, how you call that place? Some part in the outskirts of Roseau. And another one that's after I lived up there, I met by a Stefan. Nobody from the P7 area have received any title, and anybody had to get title. They would be the first set of people to get title, and none of them have gotten anything yet. He said he has 26 to be given away, but nobody has gotten anything. The man there's talking up off his head, and there's putting things and making people feel good. He was at a political rally.
So you're basically saying that he can't identify one person who got that title. That's your point.
What?
He cannot identify one person, he said, who got the title. You said he said the people of Peter 7. You said the people of Peter 7 did not receive. So you're saying if they received, they would have called in and say something.
And nobody has received title. So he said he has 26 to be given away. Nobody haven't gotten anything. Right? Because he said he has 26. Since last year, the same lawyer, them lawyers working on it. But nobody haven't gotten. He said 26, man. And since when those things happened, man, there was a political rally they had there that 2 years got third thing. That was just a political rally. People mamote in, people don't know what to say. People reading upside down, bottom, all kind of that. Machine. Have people acting a fool of their adults, acting a fool. What a life. Since when Prime Minister, his wife, is everybody giving house and giving key to houses. Since when does this happen in Dominica? And people are grinning and laughing and making a march out of that. That thing never happened between the 70s, at the time of Patrick John, at the time of Edison James, at the time of Marshall, nothing like that. Since Starboy's stupidity come into that kind of life you have there, making a magic with people. What a life. Have a nice day.
What a life. Let's listen to one, of course, voice note there from...
I'm listening to you. What is the problem about this title, Matty? Well, you guys need to give my Prime Minister a chance. Let him do what he's doing. He said the title is in the pipeline, everything coming on for the title. What you all talking about like this, man? Man is from one topic to the other. Give the man a chance. Let him do what he's doing for the state. He tell them they will get the title. Everything is time. I hope when he give the people the title, you all will have a program to say give it out. You man, stop talking, man. Everything is Roosevelt scary. Or to make it bigger than it is.
That was my friend there from St. Thomas. Good afternoon to you on the telephone. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Yeah, good afternoon. I think I called the program quite a while back on the question of titles.
Yes,
I'm not sure whether analysis has been given to this thing, but I'm one of the proponents who is opposed to the issuance of titles to people for government housing for people who do not work and who do not contribute or pay for a house should not get a house free of charge. They should get housing.
So what your approach would be housing?
No, I mean, you have limited resources. You have limited land.
Okay.
I mean, are we going to go in Mount Dablotin, Mount Trapicho to get land to build new houses for generations to come? Based on the way things are going on in Dominica, can't you see there are going to be yes, we care and housing needs and housing shortage for a long time to come from government to government? They're going to have to be addressing that because people are not working for adequate income to buy land and to build their own homes. So the state is going to be saddled with a responsibility to continuously be providing new persons who will be coming up for housing. I think people are entitled to housing who need it and not houses. People, if somebody doesn't contribute, if you have a program where people contribute towards a house, so you pay a monthly, whether it's subsidized. So say the property is worth 200,000, government say, okay, we'll contribute 100,000, subsidized housing. You pay 100. Then there's some kind of equity. But how on earth can somebody get taxpayers' money as a house and bequeath it to their children, whether the children are wealthy, do not need? We are going away from the purpose of housing, in that we are giving people an asset, and when they're dead, whether or not their children need it, they're going to be getting it to sell it or to have it to enjoy it on state resources. To me, something is wrong about that. I'm totally opposed to that, and I've said so over and over. And the idea of making political mileage out of giving titles, that should be reversed. And where people talk about the government not giving titles, I'm happy they're not giving titles. They shouldn't give titles. Because if people need housing, as soon as they do not need housing, somebody wins a lottery, for instance, you win $1 million. What do they need government house? I mean, you get married to some wealthy person who puts you into a good position. Give that house to somebody who needs it. Why should people be suffering without houses and people are dying and living homes to persons who do not need it? This is taxpayers' money and should not be given as gifts to people by way of houses. It should be housing needs. Once you do not need the housing anymore, you should be out of government housing. Give it to those who need housing. And that should be a very firm policy of the government. If I were in cabinet, that's what I would decide.
Very strong position there. We're going to wrap it up on that point. It's worth a repeat, eh? Just this clip there. Just this clip. Don't forget tonight, Global View and Q on the big station. I think I'm gonna wrap up this afternoon with this song there, huh? I'm gonna wrap it up with this one. Oh boy, quite appropriate, quite appropriate. 2014, she did this one. I've got to go now. I've got to go. Leave you with Baby Machine.
I had a big crush on with a woman from chance, not the one who was on the radio. She confessed she never knew being a mother was shameful too. She said, I have 4 children, I love every one of them, but sometimes the kind of things are impossible. I really thought true. Right now, I would be touched by the next level. My heart is broken into pieces, just like all that broken from me. Oh, I was just fooling myself, taking hold of the man. Oh, if I had a good education, I wouldn't be gone out begging politicians. They say I'm a baby machine. They say I am good for nothing. Because I'm making children. Oh, just making children. They call me that kind of woman, that kind of like plenty man. Why? Because I'm making children. Oh, I ain't growing them. No. That's when the next plan coming and every foot counting, then come running to the same mama what in same man, them kind of woman. You making children for them. Up the shoulder, mask out. What chance has a hot back like me? I must be crazy to expect politician sympathy. All they want is young women, lawyers, foreigners, and businessmen. But when they in campaign mode and they come to your household, they're missing to heaven and earth for you. Man only know you for truth when they want something from you. Women who have plenty children, it's men like that who give it to them. Mama, why didn't take notes? Make them pay for your votes. Yes. But we still fall in their trap. It's always so hard, making them treat us like that. They say I'm a baby machine. They say I am good for nothing. Why? Because I'm making children. Oh, just making children. They call me that kind of woman, that kind of like plenty man. Why? Because I'm making children. Oh, I am growing them. No. When the election coming and every vote pumping, let us come running to the same mama wine. Say no mama, them kind of man. You're making children for them. Just go down, mask out. Oh, na. Hey. Who want to judge me, let them. Who want to grudge me, tell them. We are relevant. Our vote is important. Look at me and all photo. They have me like yo. When I sing a mother, I put free up for. Hungry picnic, hungry belly knows no law. The women become victims of all kind of circumstances. Don't tell my daughters already. Stay in school, do not end up like me. You better study your book. Women have to rise. Be conscious and wise. Oh. Become independent before you end up in my hopeless really